The Blues, season for 2020. How are they going to go? They're my team, so I hope pretty well. But in recent years, us Blues fans have known kind of don't get your hopes up. So, yeah, there's been a fair few changes. I will go through the squad. I have written all those names on the board for you guys. So, you'll see some names missing. You'll see some new names as well. But yeah, I'll go through the squad, talk about some of the players, expectations. If you're looking for a review of the 2019 season that was done, I will chuck it up there in the corner. So if you want to check that out, review of all the stats and key areas, you'll be surprised how many of the stats look really good on the Blues. They are a top performer in many areas. However, results-wise, it doesn't seem to always go the Blues' way. So you got to feel like there's some kind of mental edge missing from the Blues, and if they can finally get all that stuff sorted, maybe it'll be, I'm not going to say our year, but at least a slightly more respectable year for the Blues. Maybe we'll not finish the bottom of the New Zealand teams. Maybe we'll make the playoffs. Maybe. But yeah, we'll talk about the squad and yeah, who you guys think to look out for, and yeah, a little bit about the schedule at the end as well. So, believe it or not, the Blues are the fifth favourite for Super Rugby 2020. I don't know how that works. There must be a fair few people putting some coin on the Blues to shift those odds, but fifth favourite. So it's Crusaders 1, Chiefs 2, Hurricanes 3, Jaguares 4. Fifth is the Blues. That's based on recent years, that doesn't seem like a smart bet. But, yeah, that is what it is. There is one particular big signing which is perhaps a big part of that. But anyway, let's have a look at the squad. The front row is pretty similar to last year, really. There's not really any main changes. Hodgman, Lindemuth, Mafaleo, Renata, Tuinukuafe, and Tuangafasi. Two biggest names there are these two guys, Tuinukuafe and Tuangafasi. The Blues, I feel like, actually sometimes looked better when they brought those guys on from the bench, the same way they did with the All Blacks. So, yeah, I don't know if that's the way they'll go, whether they'll start them. Lindenmuth didn't get many games last year, only a couple. Renata, I think, had 6, so Mafaleo and Hodgman will be there as well. Yeah, we'll see how the front row goes. I think it was okay last year. It wasn't the best. It wasn't by any means a major weakness, but it is what it is. The hooker spot is one where there's been a bit of change because Moulds has gone off to England and Apisai is off to Japan to play for the Sunwolves. So we've still got James Parsons. That guy is sticking around, and then you got a couple of guys up from the Mitre 10 Cup. Although Nuia actually played for the Highlanders last year. Eklund played for Bay of Plenty. So you got to think Parsons is probably going to be your starter for better or worse. And then, yeah, there's those other guys. So we'll see how they go at hooker. Perhaps Prop is looking a wee bit better than hooker, but we'll see. I mean, the thing with Parsons, as much as he's a great Blues man, you look at Parsons and go, would he start at any of the other New Zealand Super Rugby teams? The answer is probably not. I think he's going to be behind, like Harris at the Chiefs. He's going to be behind Taylor at the Crusaders, Coles at the Hurricanes. So, yeah, that just kind of is what it is, isn't it? The locking department, you got Carroll, Kalituioti, Goodhue, Pierce, and Tui Polotu. So, I mean, I think it was Tui Polotu and Kalituioti got most of the minutes last year. Goodhue is probably your third guy. And then we'll see how they rotate around the fourth choice lock. It's good having Tuipulotu there. I feel like his hands have improved in recent times, which has always been his biggest weakness. And yeah, let's keep him on board. He's not one of the guys who took off after the World Cup, so that's kind of good news. I think one area the Blues look actually pretty good is at loose forward. You got Gibson, Lambourne, Papali'i, Redlinger, Kappa, Robinson, Satutu, and Tucker. I mean, you're kind of blessed there having. You got Gibson, Papali'i, Robinson, and sorry, I forgot Akira Ioane as well. Those are 4 pretty bloody good loosies. So you can kind of line them up how you will. and potentially chuck one on the bench. Plus, Lambourne has been playing for the States, so he's been in pretty good form as well. Can't complain with that. And, a couple of guys up from the Mitre 10 Cup. I think Satutu only got less than 10 minutes last season, so perhaps he'll get some more minutes this year. But Lucy's, I think we're looking all right. Of all the forwards, if you're looking for kind of front row, second row, back row, the Lucy's are probably looking the best. But that's kind of not a unique thing to the Blues. A lot of teams seem to be blessed with a bunch of Lucy's, but it's maybe the tall timber that's a bit harder to find. But anyway, halfback, you got Christie, Nock, and Ruru. So Pulu has gone over to Japan. I think, Ruru was kind of the incumbent, so whether Christie can take that spot from him, not sure. Is not going to get any game time. You got three guys there. We don't kind of have that Perenara or Aaron Smith or Brad Weber. So again, you look at those three guys and go, would any of them start at any of the other Super Rugby teams? Bryn Hall probably starts ahead of these guys, right? So, yeah. That is what it is. We'll see how it goes, guys. They've got a ton of guys who can play 10. We're not going to have any problems there. So you got Beauden Barrett, but remember there's kind of a caveat on him that he's only from kind of mid-April. He's not going to be playing with us until then. So you got Barrett, you got Teddy Black, Jack Hyton, Stephen Perifeta, and Harry Plummer. So who gets the 10 jersey before Barrett gets in? And does Barrett even play 10? I don't know, man. Because I'll get to the outside backs in a minute, but you look at that and go, that's probably an area where we're more a bit thin on the ground. So it's probably between Black and Plummer based on last season, but Perifeta didn't play a game because he was injured. So maybe he comes back and plays. I don't know. I think you can shuffle those guys around a bit. Maybe Perifeta at fullback, maybe Plummer second five. He's played there before. It's not ideal. I wouldn't be looking to put him there, to be fair. Especially when you get to the midfield, because, we've lost Sonny Bill, we've lost Ma'anonu, but we've got in Joe Marchant from Harlequins for most of the season. England International, you as a Blues fan, you can't be complaining about that. You still got TJ Fa'ane, and they're moving Rico into the mid. He's listed on the Blues website as a wing midfielder, but all the talk is he's going to play midfield. It's going to be his thing. So I remember Tana said something a while back like, why would you play like the world's best winger out of position kind of thing? I don't know. Even though he did it himself. But you still got Rico, Joe Marchant, like I said, and Talea. So how they line the guys up in the midfield, it's going to be one to watch. Fine was pretty good last year. I think he's solid, man. And Marchant, like I said, you probably give him the 13 jersey. It's just who you put at 12. Do you put Fine there, Marchant, and then chuck Rico on the wing? Because I think as I get down further this board, you'll see that's probably where we're lacking. But maybe they go with Reeks at 12. I don't know. That will certainly be one to watch. And in terms of the outside backs, so Nanai left after kind of having his best season ever for the Blues. Michael Collins went to the Highlanders, and Jordan Trainer somehow didn't pick up a contract. I rate that guy. I wish he'd picked one up, but no deal. We got Matt Duffy, Jordan Highland, who's played for the Blues before. He's been down at the Highlanders, but he's back up at the Blues now. Narawa, Mark Talea, and Jared Page. So that's a weird one. Caleb Clark's going to be with the Sevens team, so you can kind of count him out, similar to Rayasi with the Hurricanes. So it's a disappointing one, but with the Olympics on, you can't kind of blame him. But that only leaves Duffy, who played with us last year in the back three. And a bunch of inexperience. So I don't know how the back three are going to line up. It makes sense for me to put Ioane there, but if he doesn't want to play there, does Leon McDonald in his second year in charge kind of acquiesce to that and chuck Rico in the midfield? Or does he put him kind of where we're a bit shorter? That's what I meant about Bodie, because when Bodie comes back, maybe he goes 15. Because that really seems to be where we're lacking, especially if Rico wants to play in the midfield. Maybe they do a deal. You play first half of the season on the wing, And then when we've got Bodie in, we'll put him at fullback. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, maybe one of these guys really puts his hand up. It's just one to watch, man. So, I mean, I had a look. Maybe Blues starting 15. Tuinakwafe Parsons and Tuangafasi in the front row. That's fine. Tupolotu Kaoli Tuioti. Yep. Solid. Very good. Not the best in Super Rugby, but it's all right. Robinson at Ioane and maybe Gibson or Papali'i there, or you can chuck Papali'i at Robinson. Either way, man, the back row is fine. Maybe Ruru and then Barrett/Black, depending on which half of the season you're looking at. Ioane, Marchant, if really they want to play Ioane at 12. And then maybe Narawa, Duffy, and Talea. I think they've said he's going to play midfield as well. He played a bit on the wing last year, so maybe you got to chuck him on the wing. I don't know. Somebody's got to move, or they got to give these inexperienced guys some serious minutes. So we will see how Leon McDonald goes. Like I said, based on the stats from the review, there's plenty for the Blues in terms of good things that they're doing. It's just something ain't right, and they can't quite click. If you're a Blues fan, you've seen them time after time make errors when in the red zone of the opposition team. They don't seem to be able to finish. If they can get over that hurdle, they've got enough good players to certainly cause some problems. But that's been a thing for a long time. And the fact that, I guess another complaint about the Blues is they haven't had a world-class 10 for many years. Well, we've got one now, although not at the start of the season. So if they do play Bodie at 10, you've got to hope things are clicking. But then, as other people have pointed out, well, you got him at 10, but have you got world-class 9? Anyway, we will see, guys. It's not all doom and gloom for the Blues. You've got to hope this is potentially a season that we can do well. In terms of the schedule, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Blues schedule. Sure enough, we start at home to the Chiefs, and we beat them at home last year. But yeah, that's still a tough game. Chiefs always bring it. They've had a pretty good record over us in recent years. Then a trip to Sydney to play the Tars, and then home to the Crusaders. So they're home games, sure enough, but the Chiefs and the Crusaders early. That's your time before you've got Bowden playing, so it doesn't make it any easier. Immediately followed up by a trip to South Africa to play the Bulls and the Stormers. Bulls haven't confirmed their squad yet, neither of the Stormers, but the Stormers are looking stacked compared to the other South African teams, so that's a tough trip. Then an away trip to the Hurricanes. So by round 6, if you lose to the Chiefs and the Crusaders at home, let's just say you go over to Sydney and you beat the Tars, you lose one of the games in South Africa, and then you lose down in Wellington, you could be kind of 2 from 6, and then you're really chasing. You don't get a bye until round 9, so halfway through the season until you get your bye, and then second half of the season, there's the bye in the second to last round. Final game is the one against the Highlanders, which could be potentially a match to see who finishes in a playoff spot, maybe to see who's the bottom of the New Zealand Conference. I don't know. A lot of people are writing the Highlanders off already, but I guess do that at your peril too. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough start for the Blues. We'll see how they go. Like I said, the numbers looked okay last year for the Blues in terms of like the individual things like the tackle busts and, all that jazz. It's just key moments seem to let them down. Leon's second year in charge. We'll see if we can get some progress. First year, I guess, is kind of him setting the foundations. And it's time to see some of that starting to pay off in the second year. So we'll see how things go. You guys let me know your thoughts. How you think the Blues are going to go in this 2020 season. Can you see us finally cracking the playoffs? Do you think we don't finish bottom of New Zealand Conference for the first time in a long time? Yeah. It'll be an interesting one, guys. Cheers to Mark also for this classic Blues jersey. Hope you're well, mate. hopefully the Blues can play a bit more like these blokes than some of these more recent guys. So if you're wondering why I didn't wear a Blues hat to match, I do have one. This is my old man's. He's got this old Blues hat from the back in the day, but it is just too small for my big old head, so couldn't fit. But yeah, cheers guys. See how the Blues go in 2020. You let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.